most exciting DJs in London. Would that be okay?
Bougie. 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 Bougie.
DJ. 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 DJ, DJ, DJ,
Let's go. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Can y'all hear me well? Loud and clear? Woohoo! Let's go. Nice to see y'all in the chat here. I see there's people from all over the world. It's pretty awesome. Thanks for joining the FEMME House DJ 101 with me, your girl, Mary Droppinz. Much love, everyone in the chat. I see you. I'm sure we've shared a bunch of experiences before, possibly on the dance floor in your city or at a festival. So it's cool to get to see y'all from this side. I haven't done a FEMME House DJ class in a minute. I think the last one was when I was in Aspen in the summer. I did a in-person class at the W there. That was pretty fun. So hello to everyone that is new and anybody that has been joining us for the last couple years that I've been on here. Thanks for coming back. Today I just wanted to do a very, very high level beginner DJ 101, never DJ'd before type of energy. But even if you have DJ'd before and you are just getting started, hopefully there are some things in here that you can walk away with and take for your own journey. Yes, so this is being recorded. Hopefully it'll be released within the week. We'll chat with the FEMME squad about how they're going to get the recording to you, I would assume through the email link that you signed up with. So yeah, let's kick it off. Let's do this. Let's fucking go. First, I think maybe I'll start with just kind of sharing a bit of my journey and how I came in to become the DJ instructor here at FEMME House, and where I really started out when I first started DJing. So when I first started DJing, it was about 2025, or no, that was literally this year, 2015. So 10 years ago is when I first started DJing, and I just like, I don't know, I felt like the calling. I went to Coachella, and I'm from Nebraska originally, so growing up, all the DJs were like, in the bar, in the corner, at the wedding. So I was like, this is not for me. But then I went to Coachella in 2011, and I was like, whoa, like this is what DJs do too? Like they're not just at the bar or in the wedding, they play these amazing festivals. So that just really like opened up my mind to the possibilities. And with that, it was like, I never looked back. I just kept going. So I went to a bunch of underground shows when I moved out to California in Orange County. I was going and went to other festivals like Lightning in a Bottle and Desert Hearts, and just started immersing myself into the culture here. And so with that, it just kept, building my journey and growing through there. I first had a huge love for Deep House, and that's kind of where it all started. I was like into Jamie Jones and Martinez Brothers and all the amazing house legends out there. I was super into that, and that's just where sonically my journey began. And it really was falling in love with like the community and like the vibe of like being at a festival, and just how everyone comes together in one place and is like in one vibe, just dancing and in like all positive energy, the plur vibes, I'm about it. So that's kind of where it all began for me. And then I decided to pick up a little DJ board. It was like a DDJ SB. I recommend using Pioneer controllers for when you're starting out now. But when I did that, I started with a random kind of controller, and then I moved over to Tractor from Native Instruments and was using my laptop. And so I tried a bunch of different things to first start out when I just was getting used to mixing and building my playlists and stuff. And I am glad that I worked on Tractor because it really did help me within the software to get used to that. And like the price point was good for me at the time, so that's kind of what worked out for me there. But I highly recommend now, like with all the knowledge that I have learned and where I'm at now, is the Pioneer controller, especially the one that you put your USB into, so it can really give you that like closest to the club standard style setup. So I just started messing around on the gear, and I felt a calling, and I felt really connected to it, and just kept kind of building on my own. Don't think I could have mixed like the first 2 years I was DJing, but I just made it work. I was just really excited to share this music that I was finding and share my energy with everyone. And with that, it gave me the confidence to keep going. I didn't put myself in a box of like, I'm not fully mastered on DJing, so I'm not going to DJ out. I just went out for it. I'm sure people have a story of when I first started about a big train wreck or something, but we had a great time at the end of the night, and I'm very grateful for just putting myself out there, because it really did prepare me for where I'm at now on bigger stages in front of bigger crowds. So one of my recommendations always is don't hold yourself back, and don't be like your hardest critic on everything. And so for me, I started playing on, I played, actually the first DJ show that I ever did was one that I booked myself, and it was for the company I was working for, because I used to work in advertising in Venice. And I was on the culture committee, so we were planning the summer party for the office, and they're like, we need to get a DJ to play at the summer party. And I was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm putting my name on this. And my first name is Alyssa, but at the time I was like, I don't want everyone to know it's me DJing this party because I'm their coworker. They're gonna be like, wait, what, you DJ? And like, there were some DJs at the office that have actually played out, and I didn't want to, I didn't think I was like at that level yet, but I just wanted to throw myself into it. And so then I put Mary Droppinz on the flyer because, you know, come from a marketing background, like felt like that was such a sick DJ name to just be as like my alias and no one know it was me. And everyone came up on the roof after work for the party, and it was me up there playing. And from that moment, it's like everyone started just word of mouth. Like then I started playing Cinco de Mayo parties for my coworkers. I played another coworkers like 4th of July party, like just all these things. I started just being that like local DJ in Venice Beach, California, playing for people that had seen me from that first show at the office. So then from there, I got onto, at the time when Facebook Live was poppin', I got on Facebook Live. I live streamed a set that I did at Loyola Marymount College. There was a free radio station on there called Mystic Pete's Radio, and he had me on just through the grapevine, found me from playing all these like local parties in Venice, went to the radio station, and then I just set my phone right in front and streamed my set. And a promoter in Orange County happened to find my live stream, or the algorithm sent him there, or like there was a way that he saw it. Yeah, you remember Mystic Pete, Taylor Bass, let's go. So they saw everything on it, and then they were like, would you like to open up our club in Orange County? I have an artist coming through. And so that was like really my first gig. So it was all kind of word of mouth and building through the community to start. And then I started playing at the club, and I was like, okay, this just opens up a whole new portal to my journey and where I'm going with this. So that's kind of like a little background how I got going. And then I was still working in advertising at the time. I started DJing around local spots in LA then, finally got a show up there after they saw some footage of me playing in Orange County, and then played a show in LA, and then I ended up getting fired from my job in advertising, which was very much a shot to the ego and everything at first. They basically said, we can tell you love DJing more than being here. And I was like, oh crap, it's that obvious? Okay. And so they're like, we're gonna have to let you go because we need people on board, like full on for this. So then I didn't want to tell my parents that I got fired because then they'd probably be like, you need to move back home to Nebraska or something. So I just was like, all right, what do I do all day? What do I do? And I looked in my room, and I had my Tractor DJ decks there. And I was like, I play on this all the time. What is like the company that owns Tractor? And it was Native Instruments. So I go on to LinkedIn. Native Instruments was hiring for a job that I was fully qualified for. Applied, got the job, and that was like my intro into the industry. So getting a job in the industry was probably the best thing I could have done because who did I meet first when I got there? LPGOV. And I was building up a whole list of local and bigger artists that were women and how I can get them some gear from Native Instruments and like building this whole program. And she was on the list. And so we got on a call, and it was just like an immediate like, real, recognize real, we're sisters from a past life, what's going on? And she invited me to come teach a DJ class with her up in Ojai, California. And when we went on that trip, because she was gonna teach production and I was teaching DJing, we went on the trip, we rode in the car together, and we just bonded, and she like had my back since then. And it's been truly such an honor to like keep doing this and growing with FEMME House and helping share all of my knowledge and story, because yeah, I saw for the first time I went on Reddit, and someone was like, she must be an industry plant. And I was like, I wish I was, because it definitely would have been a lot easier to get to where I am now. But it just started making me think like, oh, like I don't think people realize like it really truly is about your network, and it's a network grows organically. You know, you have to have great intentions and also follow up with people and in like a cool way, not like pushing it and pressuring them or anything, and building genuine connections with people. And that has been such a driver in my journey to get to where I am today. Because anyone's talented, anyone's creative, anyone can mix, and anyone can make music, but really like how you can stand out is by networking and meeting the right people. And so putting yourself in those situations, going to a show to support a local promoter group that throws underground parties, or getting a job in the music industry, even on the gear side like I did. I wasn't like working with labels or actual artists all the time. I was working with the gear, and then finding ways to parlay that gear in with other artists, and then you meet people and then they remember you, and your name gets brought up in the right rooms, and then you have amazing people like LPGOB in your corner that will put your name out there and say they're your reference. And so I'm very grateful for that. And if I can definitely give any advice for anyone really wanting to take this as to be a professional DJ, is networking is super important. So getting out there and talking to people and sharing. Obviously, it comes with the music and the skill and everything like that as well, but we know we can get there. We got that in the bag. So it's just the next layer is your connections and getting out there and genuinely building relationships with other people that are also into what you do and can help you out. So that's why I am really grateful also for the FemmeHouse community in general, because like, for example, when I played in Aspen, one of the girls from my class got picked to open up for me at the Aspen show. So it's like we're building a whole network here, like in this moment right now through FemmeHouse, and I definitely pride myself on communicating with everybody as much as I can on Instagram or Telegram or Discord and stuff to answer questions and be that network for the up and coming generation of DJs and stuff. So it's cool, like all of us coming together. Like community really is the most important next to the music. So I'd like to be oh yes, and bringing up that 55-year-old, there's no age with music. It's not like we're out here trying to be models, like you have like a certain amount of time that you can do that. But I mean, actually not even two, like you can model for the old homes or stuff too. Like there's no age limit to this is really like what I'm trying to say is music is timeless. There's no number for it. It's about feeling and art and sharing that. So it's great. Oh my gosh, Ivy, so great to see your name here. I miss the Twitch streams as well. I love that. And yeah, and people like that are in their 40s or 50s or 60s even, there's a bunch of DJs that I've seen, their peak is happening when they're 55, and they've been doing it since they were 20. So you just never know when your moment's gonna be. It's just all like about magnetism and timing and alignment, and then it just happens. So don't even fret and worry about age with music, because it's got nothing to do with it. It's all about sound and the feeling that you give. So yeah, that's kind of like my journey in this, how I got to like be right here in this moment talking to y'all. And appreciate everybody for signing up and showing up. I think we had almost like 200 people pull up for this, which is an honor. And so cool that you want to explore this side of yourself. I mean, finding a creative outlet, whether you want to be a professional that's playing the main stage at all the big festivals, or you just want to be able to mix at home and like this be your creative outlet outside of the norm. It's a really cool thing that you're doing for yourself to be here and to open this portal for yourself to expand and do this for life. Because I mean, you know, I kind of think about it like with video games. I used to play a lot of video games. I loved playing video games, but like it is kind of cool because you're like, you know, working on it. It's like muscle memory. You're having to move your eyes really fast. Like there's some truth to how it's good for us to, you know, kind of do this and be in a flow state, which you can also get through exercise. But that is what I absolutely love the most about DJing, is getting into my flow state and just playing and manipulating sound, like with the way that I like do things, and creating combos and experiences and emotions and tension and all the different things that you can do with sound. And I play all the time still at my house by myself. Like it's never like you just learn how to do it and then you just go play and stuff. Like this is something I love doing. It's a therapeutic for me to mix and play at home and mess around. So I hope that you find that in this. And then the part about when, you know, you really want to take this as a profession and be a DJ full on, there's a lot of layers to it, of course, but it really starts with finding your purpose. You know, what is your purpose for doing this? You know, I don't think that the answer of like, oh, I want to be rich and famous is gonna get you where you really want to go, because it's so much more, like so much deeper than that. And authenticity really does win in this space. Like people, I mean, we're kind of energy workers as DJs. You know, we're not just like an iPod in the corner. We're doing a lot more. I mean, they could just turn on Spotify if they didn't care about DJs. There's something deeper to DJs than just being that person that is, you know, playing music in the corner or whatever. So finding that deeper purpose that you want to do with music and sharing it is the way to go about this, because then every time that you don't get picked for the festival, or you don't get asked to open for this artist, or you don't get on this, or your track isn't getting picked up by anyone, you still have your purpose to go back to and your center to stay on this. Because I don't know if anybody sees my stories on Instagram, but like I posted this thing about career advice, and it's like, there's 2 things about making it in this industry. 1, keep going, or never quit, and 2, keep going. It's true, you just have to, because you're always going to constantly run into the battles in your own mind, the competing against yourself, but then, you know, just like the other stuff that goes on with seeing other people's where they're at and wanting to be there, or getting held up by promoters because they don't know what genre you play and you don't have a track out, so they're like, we're not going to book you. Like there's a lot of roadblocks in this industry. It's not for the faint of heart. So yeah, it's like finding your purpose is super important. And so and my Instagram is my DJ name, @MaryDroppinz, by the way. So yeah, I figure with that today, we could go into just a couple basics here on the decks, just kind of where everything's at, and be able to identify why I'm doing certain things that I'm doing, what I'm thinking about for that, just kind of a basic plant the seed for you, because also I really want you to create your own style, you know, and like that's what I feel is really special about my classes. And what I'm getting is I'm here to plant seeds inside so that you can actually go out and build your own sound, build your own style, build your own purpose and everything. Because there's I'm more than happy to inspire, but really what I want to see is you do you and what you come up with from this. And I can just be there to kind of like light that like little spark for you, and then you just go and like freaking fireworks everywhere. Like, let's see what let's see what you do. So, yeah. And so I see a question in the chat. What made you want to start teaching DJing? It was actually because when LPGOB asked me to join her up at that girls rock camp, it was like, I think 12-year-old girls there. I had so much fulfillment when I was doing it. I was like, it's so cool to teach people how to do this, and then see them do it and then mix it and look at me like, oh, and I was just like, ah, my heart. So it hit me deep. And honestly, every woman in my family was a teacher. So it's kind of not random. I mean, nothing is, like, let's be honest, nothing's random. But I always, growing up, I was like, I'm not going to be a teacher because everyone else has done that. I'm doing something different because I'm always the black sheep. I'm always trying to do something different. And that's my vibe. But here we are. I'm a teacher, just like my mom and just like everybody else was. So yeah, it's just funny how life works out. But yeah, no, I don't think anything's really random with that. So yeah, I feel like at the end of this, we could do some like, yeah, umbrella weekend, umbrella friends. I love this one. I feel like at the end of this, we can do like a proper Q&A where I'll just go through each question, but feel free to like drop some questions in as we go. And if there are already some DJs in the chat that know what's going down, please chime in and answer any questions that are on the technical side of things while I'm going. And then we can just do like a whole wrap up in the end. And I will have some more resources for y'all to tap into to even go deeper dive, because I know this is very basic and some of you might already be through the basic side of things and on DJing, but there could be some cool little things in here that you don't know yet. And if you know all of this, I mean, worth to communicate and tap in with the network here that we have. I mean, there's like 200 people that are all on the same vibe right now in here, so tap in. Okay, well, first quick questions. Is there a controller other than the DJ? Yes, Kinderella. What was that? What's the Pioneer model for the controller? It's like the XDJ. Yeah, the XDJ XC. Yeah, that's the good one. I have CDJs now at home, so I haven't had that controller because I told you I was on Tractor before. But then through the grace of the Lord and freaking Twitch, we raised money during COVID to help me get my first set of CDJs. These aren't mine, but at home. So CDJs, if you have the money to do it, go for the Pioneer CDJs 3000s. Like go for the gold. But if you're on a budget, 1000% do the XDJ. That is the move. Tractor was great to learn on to start, but really just to be able to go to the shows and plug in and be into the culture here, it's like everybody's on the Pioneer. So if you can get the CDJ 3000s, freaking go for it. If you're not there, get the Pioneer controller, the XDJ, and just make sure you can put your USB in it, because then you'll get in the repetition and getting used to getting your USB loaded up, which is on a separate software. I'm not going to go into that software today. I'll give you a tip of where you can go at the end of this. Well, you can also just go onto my website and sign up for my newsletter, and that'll give you access to something next week that will have a lot more of a deep dive onto the Record Box software. And yeah, like you can go to maybe a Guitar Center or some studios in your local city, test out gear, try it out, and see if it's something that you're looking to do. But definitely recommend the controller to start. And you can also bring that out, like say you're getting used to it and having fun, then you can bring it to your friend's house and drop a set for them and or bring it out to the beach. I don't know, do a little renegade. Those are my favorite. I brought it to a grocery store once. Like, I don't know if anyone's ever seen that on my page, but I was DJing at Trader Joe's in the lot before I got kicked out of there, but yeah. So I will be dropping something very specific and special next week if you want to sign up on my website for the newsletter. For that, and then also checking my Instagram. But then also we'll be doing a troubleshooting tutorial here on FEMME House January, I think 20th, or wait, let me check the schedule. January 21st. So, and that one's gonna be about troubleshooting, because I realize I even experienced it with one of my students, that there's just always problems with the gear everywhere you play. Like, you're gonna get hit with something. Like, if you go into a set and it's completely flawless, like, you're lucky. Like, there's always something going on. So I'm gonna teach you little tricks on how to like figure that out so that you're not caught up and then the music stops, or what has to happen when you know, some of the gear is not working and you have to troubleshoot and things are on the fly happening like that. So, yes, perfect. So I think we'll just drop in here. If y'all want to change yep, perfect. Big shout out to Killed with Kindness for the production here, helping this amazing camera view. Like, it's so legit. Let's go. So here is the CDJs, these two. This is what the CDJs are, the ones with the little jog wheels here. And in the middle here is the mixer. And so we can do a bunch of questions at the end. But for the transition, like from console to CDJ, it's pretty easy. Like on the DJ XDJ, I can't say it right. The controller for Pioneer, it's very similar to this setup. It's very similar. Maybe a few things are in different locations. I think that the screen on one of them is right in the middle, and you only have one major control to go through and pick your song and engage it on which CDJ it'll go to. But it's basically the same thing. So getting the XDJ controller is the move for being ready to play on the big gear like this. So let's drop in. All right, I think let's start on the mixer here first, and then we can talk about the CDJs, because CDJs is where I'm loading up the tracks to mix. But right here in the middle is the mixer, and this is like the main holy grail for where everything's going down, all the adjustings. Looks like there's a lot of knobs, you know, you're like, where do I start? Where do I begin? But we'll just start here with deck 3. So you can see all the different decks here. This is for 4 CDJs that you can have set up. Right now for deck 3, that's how the CDJ that we have plugged in. It's going into deck 3. And you can see that right here. I just pressed play. You can see that there's sound coming through. But you wouldn't hear it because I don't have this fader right here up. So this is how you really start engaging the track.
bougie, bougie,
And now it's out. And then I stopped the track. So now you don't see the colors right here lighting up. So when you do see these colors, then you know that that song is sending to this section right here, the deck 3, and you know that it's all working and you're good to go. So that's how you really get something started with pressing the play. Like I have the Q button, I'm just pressing. When you press Q, it's like, it doesn't fully start it like you would when you press play, because then now it's going. But you won't hear it because
And
We
this
need
one
this
came and I
guy up.
told you, I think they're one of the most exciting DJs in London.
And I know that there's a lot of parallel style waveforms and things that are different on controllers and stuff, but this is all the same concept. It's just a different way of looking at things aesthetically. So on the Pioneer controller, I believe that it's going horizontally. So sweet. Okay, so awesome. I've got, this is the mixer here, and each of these EQs are all different. I'll be using all of them, but what I'll first start with is the, right here. This one is for the highs. So the highs would mean like a hi-hat. Who would have thought? You know, all the sounds that are really in that higher frequency range that are like not the bass, you know, because the bass is coming in at the low end here. So this is the low EQ, and then this is the mid. So obviously in the middle of the high and the low is the middle. And the mid, you could imagine vocals would fit right in the mid right there. Maybe some piano or melodies or things that are kind of in that middle range in the track, because you kind of like to picture it out like, here's all the high sounds, here's all the middle sounds, and here's all the low. And this is how you're controlling them. And so you would want to have the low out when you're bringing this track in, because you don't want to just blast them. Like, so for example, I'll play this track with the low out, and then you can hear the difference when I bring the low EQ up.
And this one came and I told you, I think they're one of the most exciting DJs in London. Would that be okay?
bougie, 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 bougie.
Okay, sweet. So you could feel the difference with that, having the low end right here coming out, coming in. And then let's hear it with let's play with the mids. I'm gonna bring it up.
DJ,
Here's the,
DJ,
Bougie,
DJ, DJ, DJ,
bougie,
DJ,
bougie,
and then the top you can have come out as well.
bougie,
DJ, DJ,
bougie,
DJ.
Yes, there's not a problem with redlining. I don't have any speakers actually going right now, so all I'm hearing is coming into my headphones. So the redlining is not affecting any speakers or anyone's ears at this time. So to just immediately, you know, assume that if it's redlining, everything's wrong, that's not correct. You can actually have it be redlining and it's not affecting anything. But to tame the red line, you can also adjust the clipping up here at the top and turn it down, because then it just maybe means that this track is mastered with a lot of more intensity and you kind of need to adjust it. So let's get redlining again.
bougie,
See the red?
bougie, bougie,
No red.
bougie,
Yeah, redlining is something that it's like it's going to be sending the sound like way too intensely out, and could affect your speakers, could hurt people's ears. There's a lot of different reasons for it, but if it's not as black and white as you would think when you just see a red, you're like, oh no, but I don't have any speakers going, so it's all good. And I like to adjust the redlining with the clip here, because you can see as I have the clip right here at 12 o'clock, you can see the red coming through as well. But if I just adjust that, then I can still keep each high, mid, and low still at 12 o'clock, sending the fullest capacity of the sound. I've never been in an instance where I want all my sound this way. To me, that's going to be clippy, crunchy, too much. I would rather adjust the trim to bring the volume out louder than sending it like this. But there are instances where if it's a special track that like you can't really hear the vocals on, you might want to have this turned up a little bit. Are we frozen? Okay. No, I've never had it be something that ruins your DJ board. The redlining can ruin speakers. So if I had speakers blasting here, I would not have it redlining because I wouldn't want to mess up my speakers. I haven't noticed anything, but correct me if I'm wrong. You know, I'm not the freaking Lord all mercy of freaking DJs, you know, but I know that with the redlining, it's more about protecting the speakers so that they don't pop or blow out. But if it's redlining here while I have it in my headphones, that's good, because that's fine, because I'm adjusting my headphone volume right here. So I'm not blasting my ears out when I'm sending this track. Yeah, feel? Okay. So basically, that's kind of like what's going on with the mixer here with the EQs. So all of these will adjust different parts of your track and the sounds here, the highs, the mids, the lows. I like to use the clip to adjust so that I'm not, you know, redlining if I have it out blasted on the speaker. But also over here is where you would also check for the red line. This is probably more important because it's your master where all of the sound's coming out. So you could be red over here and it not be red over here, and you're good. So it's kind of, you gotta just test your ears and make sure that you're paying attention so that things aren't being gnarly on the speakers. Okay, so let's do a little bit of effects, and then I'll move over to the CDJs, and we can talk about where I get my tracks, what I do when I download them, and how I load up a track on the CDJs and everything like that. So, okay, cool. So let's play with the filter right here. Basically, if you turn it to the right, you're going to be doing the high pass, and if you go to the left, you're doing the low pass. Oh, wait, was my head blocking that? So to the right is cutting out the high pass, and to the left is cutting out the low pass. So this way, I'm going to be taking out the vocals. This way is going to be cutting the bass. You'll hear it. But I have the filter right here engaged, and this is where I adjust it. And quick question I see, like, do you use headphones on both ears? I don't. I just have headphone on my right ear for mixing, and then I keep my left out because I like to hear what the crowd is hearing and hear the booth, because then that helps me to depict how much I can redline and like not redline, you know? So I would say ear protection is a great call. I would say that I do raw dog it quite a bit, but I think you should protect your ears, and you know, the teacher's not always the best, being the best person, so I have worn no protection. And when I DJ, I don't wear ear protection because I'm adjusting my booth, which if I had speakers going right now, this would be up. I'm adjusting that, so I'm not blasting myself. I mean, the crowd's gonna be hearing a little bit more coming from the master, but this is my control in my booth. And so I'll just kind of have it a little bit lower, or off, like not off, but I'll have it lower so that I'm not blasting myself. So I don't have to have my earplugs in, because for me it's kind of hard to mix when I've got the earplugs in. It just, like, you can just feel it differently. So I just keep my booth at a decent amount so I'm not blasting my earballs out. But this is off because I don't have any speakers playing. I'm just playing off my headphones right now. So, all right, let's drop into the filter here, and you guys can hear the... let me cut out the bass. So right there, I just, instead of even just moving this over, I just turned it off right here, which is cool, because if you're mixing on the fly and there's a lot going on, like, you might forget to pull that up, and then you can leave it. Got feel. Okay, cool. So that's a little filter. I'm going to show you my favorite too over here, and then you can explore the rest when you get your board. But I love the Crush. And everything that you do is important, you know, the way that you turn the knob, it's felt. Like, watch, for example, if I turn it like not caring, and then I'll do it where I'm like intentionally getting it back at the 12 o'clock. So like the difference between these EQs and this filter, the filter in these effects is really just for like to create tension, to add some like fun to the mix. Here, how about you hear me take out the bass and then you hear the filter being taken out and you can hear the difference. There's just something that's, you know, filter has like kind of these different characteristics to it. And more like range too. You see, you don't get that when you're right here. Jaw feel. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's kind of like the difference here. And then these EQs, I usually have this out when I'm bringing, say this track's already in from the other. You would see the waves here. And you know, it's just. I don't drop in this track like. You know, I like to mix with this low out, you know, because like I don't want to bring in a bunch of different basses playing and it sound like there's too much. I would prefer to just switch out the basses. So that's just like a classic first time mix, you know, you just want to switch these. And then that's when this is up. Okay, cool. And then my other favorite is the dub echo on the effects. Just always adds a little fun to it, you know? So just like kind of adding this like echoey, so good. We love it. Okay, cool. So that's kind of like what's going on here. This is where the effects are. This is where I plug my headphones in, by the way. There you go. I plugged it into here, so that's where I'm hearing all the sound. This is where I control the sound from the headphones. So right here is the level. And then right here it says mixing, Q, and master. This just means if I have this turned onto the Q here, then it's only going to listen to whatever Q I have engaged. You know? It's going to just listen to this one. So this is good for when you have this track out playing and you're like, I'm going to engage this cue so I can listen in my headphones and make sure this next track that I have coming in is going to go well with this one. But then when you move this dial to mixing, then I can hear this cue that's not out for the crowd, and I can hear what the crowd's hearing. So I like really heavily rely on making adjustments here so I can hear between the tracks, hear what they sound like individually in my headphone, and then hear what it's like mixing with this track before I even mix it and other people hear it. So it's cool. I definitely recommend using this area for when you're learning to mix and beat matching, is adjusting these. So yes, and then so for an overview over here, this whole effects pad situation, let's go through, you know, how to do this. Like basically right now, it's on master right now, so it just means all channels are gonna get this effects. Like you could do a reverb, an echo, a delay, a filter, transient, helix, like all these different fun little effects you can do. It's gonna hit every single track. So you might wanna do that. There might be an instance, but basically you'll just wanna choose which track you want this to go for. So I'm choosing it for deck 3 because that's the track I have loaded up. So let's listen to a little echo on half rate. So I just chose echo here. You know, this is where all the rest of them are. But we're going to go for echo. And you can choose the rate that you're going to have it echo out at. So I'm going to do it on the half beat. So here we go.
And if I came and I told you I think they're one of the most exciting DJs in London, would that be okay?
Bougie. 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 Bougie.
DJ. DJ.
Yeah, this doesn't affect the timing of the song. It's just adding different effects to create tension or like when you're about to drop it, or just to have fun with it. Like you're basically producing on the fly. I love effects. I know there's people that DJ on zone mixers that really only have a filter. I personally don't enjoy that. I like to mix on the Pioneer 900 mixer because of all these effects. Like, I think it's fun to do that. Like, otherwise you're just mixing one track in, mixing another track out. But this gives it so much more character. It doesn't affect like timing or anything, but yeah. One sec, I'm just kind of reading the chat as I go. You can select, it'll show you your options. Yeah, cool. This mixer right here is the DJM 900 Nexus 2. This is my preference on my DJ rider, which for my tech rider, I have the CDJ 3000s, which hopefully Killable Kindness will be getting here very soon, because these are the 2000s. These are not my my preference, but it's all good. We're making it work. And then this mixer is my preference, the 900 Nexus 2, or the A9 is great. And then the V10 is also good, but I feel of all the new mixers, the A9 is what I would go for if I wasn't on the DJM 900. So yeah, this is kind of like where all the effects are, and where this situation is over here. But then it just, you know, it's like go through them, have fun. Like I'll do a couple examples of what each effect sounds like. And just pay attention to right here so you can see what kind of effect I'm choosing. And these numbers right here are just of how it's hitting, so.
Be okay.
bougie, 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 bougie.
Yeah, so that's just kind of like having fun with the effects. Like my biggest advice for effects is like give each individual one a go and try them out and see what makes each one unique, and ask yourself when would be a good time to do certain effects, and feel that out, and you'll know, like, and then it just becomes second nature, and you go to the effect and you know exactly what rate you want it at because you know that's what sounds good. Or, you know, the adjusting the beat and everything right here, you just know where to start it. Like, it's just the more you kind of get comfortable and play around with each individual effect, you'll understand its purpose for you. But I see a question in the chat about Gear and Ableton and Rekordbox. Rekordbox is the software that I use to build my libraries, build my playlists, queue up my tracks, organize my tracks, get my tracks on the grid, and load all of my tracks from my computer that I downloaded onto my USB so that I'm ready to go to the club with literally something like this big. Like, I know how to spin on vinyl, but I am very grateful that this is all I need to bring to carry to the club, because vinyl is very heavy. But you have to have record box to get that to work. Ableton is what I use for when I'm producing music. There are people that DJ with the Ableton software. I personally haven't done that. I've only used DJ gear, and the only time I used my laptop was with Tractor, but I'm very grateful that I'm not a laptop DJ, because the thought of bringing my very expensive laptop out to every show gives me a bit of anxiety, is what the kids call it. Like, it's not chill, the idea of bringing my laptop out. So I'm just glad that all I have to worry about is this, which, by the way, these USBs, I absolutely recommend getting like 10 of them and bringing them all with you. Like, that is the best thing you can ever do, is never go anywhere with just one. You don't want to get caught up like that. You put so much work already into this. Bring backups, bring backups. I won't be going into explaining on how I'm going to be using Rekordbox. I have something very special for you dropping next week that will go into all of what I do on Rekordbox, all my settings, how to organize them, my playlists, and how to queue up tracks and adjust the grid and everything next week. So if you just sign up on my website for the newsletter for that, and you'll get first alert on that information. If you don't see it on my website, let me phone in a friend if you could check into the location or drop the link to my newsletter. And then also my Instagram, like that's where I drop everything all that you can go. So just have me on your alerts on Instagram, or just check my page next week. So that is, yeah, that'll be good for next week when I drop my little surprise. But for the time being, I'm just going to be showing you the decks right here and answering questions, because the software would definitely take us a bunch of more hours. And much as I love y'all, I gotta like do things like make music and eat and get ready for my next date. So yeah, so basically that's kind of like the mixer rundown. With the CDJs over here, let's go right here on this CDJ. So first thing I would do is I make sure to press link. And I press link because it's going to pick up the USB that I've put into this deck and pull all the information over to here. On this deck, I just have USB engaged because this is where my USB is located. So that's what works for this is how the 2000s are set up. So on the link, and then this is my playlists. But when you first get into the link, here is the USB. And then you can scroll down, you can look through each artist, the albums, the tracks, each track in a key, which key it's in, your playlists, the history, and then you can also search for different tracks. But yeah, we'll just go into a playlist, my Fresh Start one that I play for New Year's Eve. But where I get all of my music is obviously on Beatport, for one, and two is also Bandcamp. Bandcamp is for sure the move for looking for a lot of deep cuts, like remixes, edits, things that wouldn't be on Spotify but are like so fire, like just dance floor killers, like. So Bandcamp is something I recommend. It's definitely a bit of a learning curve at first to figure out how to search stuff and like get the right things in your algorithm. But if you follow the right labels or artists and or other collectors on Bandcamp, Then you can start getting good things populated into your algorithm. Yes. So let's do, we're looking through tracks here. Tap versus the beat button. We're using the effects. It always confuses me. Can you talk about the tap versus the beat button? Oh, this tap one right here? Is this what you're asking about? Yep. Okay, cool. So the tap is really to find the BPM of the track that you're going to want to use these effects on. So I'd be tapping it to this track that I'm listening to so that it makes sure that the BPM is synced up with the BPM of this actual track. Because I wouldn't want this to be at like 140 and my track over here is at 160, because the way that the echo will hit won't be like synced up on beat. So yeah, so that's the tap, is just to check for that. But most people, when they're setting up at these events, they have the BPM right here because it's all like already linked. Everything's linked. So, but I go through a bunch of different BPMs, and so sometimes I'll be like playing at 130 and then I'm at 170 and it still says 130 up here. So my effects are going to be off and bother me. So I'll have to do a quick manual tap on the beats to get it onto where it needs to be. See, now it's at 128, but my track that I'm going to bring in is 160. So let's tap to get to the 160. There we go.
And if I came and I told you I think they're one of the most exciting DJs in London.
So yeah, movement and dancing is really important. I'm sure you've heard of the term, don't trust a DJ that doesn't dance. But it's because, like, you got to tap onto the beat. You got to be moving to the beat. You got to be really, like, every move and frequency you do has got to be like. Otherwise, it's just. Otherwise it's just not making sense. You got to like roll with it like that. And I do see the question about MP3s, WAV, and AIFF. I just say don't overthink it. I haven't noticed personally a difference in the sound when I'm playing an MP3 versus a WAV. Obviously, if it's like a track that like just my friend recently made, I would probably ask them for a WAV just so that I can get the best quality, just in case I don't know where they're like mastering is at or whatever. But I have not noticed a major difference unless you're ripping tracks like off of YouTube, or you're in, if LimeWire is even still around. I don't know where people, slider.kz, all these like random like websites that give you free tracks, like, yeah, you're gonna probably suffer on quality there. So I wouldn't recommend doing that. But when you're buying tracks from Beatport and Bandcamp and stuff, like, you're gonna get a good quality, I would assume. I mean, like SoundCloud, that's another one. Like, I get a lot of tracks from SoundCloud. I love finding tracks on SoundCloud. But I'll download them because they have that free download link. And sometimes the quality is just a little bit, like it's too loud or something like that. So I'll go in and I'll have a friend of mine help like remaster the track or do things like that. So be very, like, use discernment when buying track or getting free tracks and rips. Like, you gotta be careful with doing that. And also, yeah, it doesn't support the artists, so please buy tracks. Like, I feel like no one, just regular consumers, are buying music anymore. So really, like, the DJs are all helping spread the love through buying each other's tracks. And it's unfortunate what Spotify has kind of put us in this situation. But so yeah, buy your tracks. You're not gonna have to really worry then if you're buying them, like, truthfully through Beatport, because they're putting down the best quality to be on that website. So MP3 is fine for that. So yeah, that's one. And then, okay, so that's where I get all my tracks. Let's do like a quick little mix between the two, and then I'm gonna open up the floor for more questions because I keep looking up and I want to answer everybody's question, but I also am trying to do this. So it's, you know, I mean, that's also with being DJ. You got to multitask. You got to just be on the fly and moving and grooving like that. So, okay, let's go for it. Let's do something fun. Yeah, let's do one of my originals. Right now I'm just fast forwarding through the track. You could also just go like this. Well, these are the 2000s, never mind. Let's go through this. All right, here we go. And then I'll load up a track over here. You'll see me getting this track all ready. And then what I do over here, I don't want the sync on because I'm gonna wanna adjust the BPM. And also, I don't sync shame. If you wanna sync, that's fine. I prefer to beat match manually. It's fun. And when you get it and when it clicks, it's fire. Like there's no better power than like I can hear and make the adjustment with my own ears. Like it's just dope. But there are instances where you do need to sync, especially when you're jumping BPMs, going from like 160 to 174. You might want to have those synced while you're making the adjustments because then it's just everything stays on while you're going up to that. But like I'm not out here to be sync shaming and telling people like you can't do that or you're not legit if you do that. It's literally on here. Like they literally put it on here. Like it's not, there's no sync shaming in this course. Like, but we'll go through more in detail about like beat matching and how to train your ears and stuff as we continue on with the course. So, all right, let's do a little mix and then I'll share what I did after. For the soul, for the soul. For the soul, for the soul, for the soul, for the soul, right down the rabbit hole, right down the rabbit hole. Sometimes I need to fall, right down the rabbit hole, right down the rabbit hole, right down the rabbit hole. Sometimes I need to fall, need to fall, need to fall, right down the rabbit hole, right down the rabbit hole, 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 rabbit hole. Right down the rabbit hole. Right down the rabbit hole. Fuck it. Okay, so real quick, what I just did right there was I had this track playing, everything was going. I did a couple effects just for fun to show you. And then over here, I was getting this track prepared, make sure that the BPM was the same as the one that I'm mixing. And then at the beginning of the track, I started with, you can hear the little guitar from, if you know Metallica, this is my edit. And I love that. I think that is so fun. I mean, I wouldn't have made a track that without that if I didn't love it, but I'll have that play and then I set a loop. And looping is just another thing you can do when you mix. Like if I didn't want to do the loop, I could just have it keep going and then, you know, change the EQs here to switch the bass. Like traditionally, a lot of house artists will just do that. But for me, I just, on this one, I had a loop going. And then I exited out of the loop when it was time to send the drums in for my Metallica dub. And yeah, so like those were going at the same time for a bit. I mean, we could do like what it feels like again if things are kind of just going. Like, here we go. Now you can watch. We could get lost in that. I could go on a whole journey. But anyways, this red button right here is the quantize. I like to have this engaged when I'm playing loops because it makes sure that everything is still on the beat. And I've looped things before without quantize on, and it gets like crunchy, and I have to constantly keep adjusting the sound. This just keeps it all like locked in on that loop. So there's it's really good to have the quantize engaged when you're looping. But for the example, like when I did that fun little loop moment, let's see. I couldn't even hear that. I didn't have my headphones on. Hopefully that sounded good. But yeah, so that's just like a different way that you know, when the quantize off is a good move. But yeah, quantize I like to use with the loops, especially when I have two going at the same time like I was showing you guys over here. But yeah, so that's just like some of the little basics on a quick little mix here. I figure let's open up the floor for more questions. Hello. And let's roll. Okay, start first is Megan. How did you figure out what genre you wanted to specialize in? I love so many genres and have trouble deciding which route to take. Music to my ears. Don't blame yourself. Don't choose a route and just like pour your heart out, you know, like just play what you want. I love to mix between multiple genres. Like when you come to my sets, you'll hear some garage, and then somehow I'm at like 160 juke, and then I drop some drum and bass, and then I'm playing dubstep, and then I'll end with like some reggae or something, you know? Like, don't limit yourself, but if you want to like hone in and choose a sound to kind of start with, like where I started my journey was with deep house. Just go with what you feel most natural with. Like when I first started this journey, I felt most natural with house. It made me feel like sexy. I could just close my eyes and just like for the soul and really take it in. And it was just like, this is so epic. But then, you know, as things progressed, I started being like, this house is so boring to me. It's just like dun 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 on like the same kick drum, boom boom boom. Like, come on, like I need something else. And then I discovered breakbeat, and I was like, oh, okay, like we're off the beat here. Like, and then I just started exploring and flowing with that. And for me, the way that I move, the way that I mix, the way that I just vibe is so much more broken beat and like than like a straight 4 on the floor the whole time. So, you know, like being able to just see how music makes you move and how that makes you feel could like help you figure out your sound. But studying up on all the different genres is super smart to do. It's a great way to also organize your playlists by different genres. So I highly recommend, you know, brushing up on your genres. Okay, let's see for questions because the chat's moving and grooving. Moving and grooving. Thanks everyone for engaging. I'm like, I'm not talking to myself. This is awesome. Let's see what I missed. We are lost in the sauce. Let's go to that genre one. CJ is a button. You guys are so cool and sweet. Okay, I'm sorry if I miss your question, but I can't find exactly which ones I'm missing. So, okay, let's do. Can you talk about your beginning gigs? I can only speak for myself, but I want to eventually produce, to be an artist, DJ. So open format isn't really my jam. My concern is I want to play to get the experience, but smaller bars and clubs seem to want open format. So how do you break into your first few gigs in venues that are more curated experience? Gotcha. I don't know if you were here in the beginning to hear my story of how I just got started, but really was a lot of word of mouth, and that was because I started DJing for the company that I used to work with, and I played my first show on the rooftop, and so with that, word started kind of spreading, hey, like you should have Droppinz come play your Cinco de Mayo party or your friend's dinner party. And that's just kind of how I started building in my community. But how I got like noticed to be able to play for a house music, rave, club, bar that was more specific to that, so I wasn't doing open format, was I posted videos of me playing that style of music. I did a Facebook Live. I did Twitch at one point in my career. And so I think just sharing all of that on the internet, because this is the world we're in. It's like, I'd be lying if I didn't say that it does stress me out how much I have to be on social media for my job. But it's just, instead of fighting it, ride with it. Like, that's all I got to say. This is where we're at, you know? And so being like very transparent and putting my music up on social media the way that I have helped get me into this places that I wanted to play at, instead of just going to a local bar, knocking on the door. Like, we're in 2025 now, you know, AI is here. And just so like, you got to put your stuff out on the internet and share yourself, and don't hold your own self back from that. Okay. Oh, love breaks. That's how I found you. Yes, breaks found me. Like, I love breaks. They're the best ever. Okay, I'm gonna open decks. Really help me. When did you start producing music? I always hear people say to produce first before DJing, but does that really matter? I love that question. I'm a DJ first, and I will roll with that to the grave. Like, I genuinely think that it was awesome to be a DJ first. I knew exactly what I wanted to achieve, and I know what's hot, and like I have a lot more swag and like stuff because I came at this as a DJ instead of being in like the producer hole, sitting behind the computer, creating and trying to figure stuff out. I had just a different grasp on this, and I know so many producers, epic producers, that go out and DJ and they don't know how to DJ, and they're getting these big stages because their track blew up on SoundCloud or whatever, and then they're just trying to figure out how to DJ and they don't know how to run the vibe or mix, and it's because they, which is also great too, but they spend a lot of time as a producer first. So I'm very proud to have came at this as a DJ first. And I think if you are coming at this as a DJ first, don't be afraid to learn to make music and know that that's a part of your journey and going to be crucial with helping you build your community, your sound, and getting these bookings out and about is you do have to have music. So for me, when I went in to started producing, it was like a little bit like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Like, how do I even use this DAW? Like, Ableton, I'm looking at this, like, where is anything? It's a little, like, crazy at first. So I ended up going to school for production. I went to IO Academy, and I think it was 2016 or 2017. So I've been producing since 2017, and I had to go to school because I needed like one-on-one support on to figure out Ableton. YouTube Learning Academy doesn't necessarily hit for me with a lot of the different like people that I found on YouTube. Maybe it was like the teacher, not me, but I just liked being in the classroom setting, so that worked for me. But then also getting in the studio with friends and other producers that like have been doing this for 15 years and just hearing their thought processes, the things that they say, learning from them, how they mix a track down, how they organize everything in Ableton, what they name things as, when you should do certain things. That was really helpful too. So if you have any friends that are producers first and you're a DJ, like trade, like share some of your DJ tips with them, and then they can share with you how to make music. But I don't think that if you want to come at this as a DJ first, you shouldn't hold yourself back at all because I was for a bit. I was afraid to put music out at first because I was like, I don't even know if it's good. I'm not like, I didn't go to Juilliard's. Like, I don't know how to like read sheet music or anything. Like that's kind of tough for me, but I just know what sounds and feels good. And I express music in a different way, and I maybe have synesthesia or whatever a little bit, but like, it's just knowing that it's okay to be a DJ first and you'll figure it out. Like, don't be afraid to sit in, ask questions, learn, and push yourself to the limit, or build your tracks up so that they're at almost like they're like arranged and the idea's there, but then go see a producer or engineer that has been doing this for like 20 years and then get feedback, or have them help you with the mixing of that, or they'll tell you, oh, this one's out of key. And then you can be like, well, I think it sounds good that way. And like, you roll with your intuition and you don't have to change it. Or you could be like, that's why it wasn't hitting. Like, this is in the wrong key, you know? Like, so it's a collaborative effort. And I feel like, especially in electronic, people have really pushed people away from ever being collaborative. And it's like in hip hop and in all these other different genres, there's like 20 people in the studio making the track, and that's like, no wonder all that stuff's like massive. So don't be afraid to like work with friends and like ask questions and engage. You don't need to be all solo and all on your own. And especially if you're a DJ first, that you're gonna want support and help from people that went to music school or are classically trained. Like, this is a whole community collaborative effort, and that's how you put your best foot forward. But if you want to produce first and then DJ later, that's fine too. It's just really however you like feel like comes naturally to you. But all in all is you are going to need to make music as a DJ, and so, you know, however you want to figure out to learn, it's going to be a part of your journey. So if you want to learn to DJ and produce at the same time, do it, because you're going to learn to produce at some point. Like, you're going to need it. You do need to have music that represents your style, represents your vibe, shares your message so that your community can grow, and then more promoters start booking you because you're selling out shows. Okay. As a female in a male-dominated industry, what are some advice? As a female in a male-dominated industry, what are some advice you can give on how to handle criticism or feedback? Handling like criticism and feedback, I think, kind of goes with like just how you interpret that as a person. I don't think it's a male or female thing, but basically being in a male-dominated industry, it's you know, sometimes it's disheartening because I'll look at a lineup and I'll see only one woman on it, or you know, I just am like, there's a lot of other, like, there's a lot more. So that's why I'm really thankful for places like FEMME House, because it's starting to build this collective of you know, femme DJs, and then these bigger promoters can start looking at this community and this pool, because that's where I think it was lacking, is people doing the right research to know, you know, there's a lot of other epic female DJs out there. Like, we could definitely have the lineup be 50-50, you know? So, yeah, I feel like that's been like kind of the struggle. But then as far as like criticism and feedback, you just gotta get like, you gotta get tough skin anyways to be an artist. Like, I'm noticing it now. I'm literally from Nebraska, and like everybody's starting to know about me, and they're like they said that thing on Reddit, and at first I was like, oh, that hurts. Like, I've literally worked my ass off for freaking 10 years, and someone to say like that I'm an industry plant, and I'm just like, what the heck? But then it's like, it rolls off. It's funny. And then now it's propelled me to want to share more of my story, which, you know, that's a whole part of like social media and stuff, is like sharing your story, which is something I'm getting used to as well, because I didn't try to be a social media strategist for my job. I want to be a DJ. But like, you gotta wear all the hats. You gotta be with the times. You gotta be ready to rock and ready to move at any given time. So just stay low and nimble and like make it work. Yeah, so don't worry about criticism or feedback. Take feedback in if it's feedback that's gonna help you learn. But don't worry about criticism. Don't let that stop you. Don't let someone's, like, I've been at places where I've walked up with like a friend, and they look at the guy and they're like, all right, you ready to play? And he's like, she's playing. And I was like, hey, it's me. And then they're like all nervous watching me get up there, like, am I gonna mess everything up? And it's just like, no, because I've done my time, I've practiced this, I've earned my rights to where I'm at, and I'm confident in myself and know that I'm gonna kill it and get up there. So that doesn't bother me. It's like, you just hit it, like, F the noise. Okay. Who are some artists, DJs I'd like to collaborate with? Yes, I'd love to collaborate with Fortet or Skrillex, or who else is there? Rez would be cool, or Zedstead, Flodan. I would love to get Flodan on a track. Dua Lipa, that'd be tight. Okay, so then I curate my set on open decks. I don't know what that question is. Any low budget free software recommendations when first starting out? When you're first starting out, DJ, get Rekordbox. It's free. Start there. Are there, missed in some of these. Are there different BPMs you can mix into without matching the BPM? You could totally do that. That is something that I think is cool, is like when you're just like, you remove all limits, you remove all guidelines, and you're just like, how can I get this track in without making a big, massive disruption, but it's smooth, but like mixed up the vibe. Breakdowns are great for that. When there's a breakdown going on, there's like less sounds, there's no drums typically, and that's really where a lot of like the mixing comes in, is you want the drums to like match up. So you can, in a breakdown, you know, if somebody has like a really pretty pad and you can bring that in at a higher speed when the other one's kind of breaking down and it's just got like a vocal or air and you're just kind of slowly making it mix in without changing the BPM. You can do that. There's no limits. So thank you so much. Trying to grow into a local FEMME teaching area has been so fulfilling. Oh, you're welcome. I feel like there's a stereotype of, oh, she's DJing because she's bored, wants to be famous, that male identifying people don't have to deal with. There's a lot of things that male identifying people don't have to deal with that we do. So, yeah, it's definitely a thing. I mean, I see it often with, you know, especially with my friends that are all really beautiful. Like, guys want to just, or whoever the haters on the internet are, just want to jump on and already say that that woman doesn't know how to do anything and whatnot. And it's like, dude, it's because she's hot. Like, sorry that she's hot and she can mix. Like, I know it's a lot to process, but like, you know, it's just people that are not confident and healed within themselves. So you just have to let it roll off. Okay, is there a cool way to go from lower BPM song, like around 126, to a higher BPM, like 170 or 180? I always hear that that's a no-go. And I try to climb up the BPM a little with songs that are in the BPMs between, but sometimes it can take a lot of time in the set, and sometimes I just want to quick vibe switch up without it sounding crazy. So that's kind of like, I guess you could say a style of open format mixing could work for that. So like with cutting and making quick shifts like that, or like I said, syncing things and like creating your own breakdown of sounds while you're like sending the BPM up and going up with everything. You know, you can do that. There's no limits. If it sounds good, you know, test it at home, obviously, first and foremost. But if it sounds good, roll with it. Like, you don't have to limit that. But I like to I play around 140 BPM. So I like to get up to the 160 range, just kind of like building. Like, I'll mix it at 140, and then while the breakdown's going on the track that I want to get up to like 160, I'll start building that up when it's like there's minimal sounds, there's minimal drums, and I'm just kind of building that up. And then I teach the crowd how to dance, because they might still be like moving like this at 126 BPM, but we might be at 140 now. So when it drops, I'm showing them how we move it and where we at, you know? So it's up to you being the conductor as well as a DJ. Like, you are the energy worker. So if you want to change BPMs and go up, do it, but just like be confident in it and show the crowd where we at right now, and this is how we're moving. This is how fast we're driving. Oh, I love that, Samantha. You started your own festival, Goddess Awakening. What a beautiful name. We love that. And then a lot of local clubs only book if you can sell tickets. Do you ever struggle with getting a fan base, and how did you overcome that? 1,000%. I was DJing in local places in California for like 5 years before I started playing anywhere else outside of California. I mean, I remember I got my first show in Vegas through meeting some people that like were in the underground, and they like bringing up like other artists, and like we just got connected because they were out at an LA show. They saw me. I don't even remember how it all went down exactly, but it was like I got to go play in Vegas, and that was my first time playing there. So then those, 100 people that were there at the party, for the party, not for me because they didn't know me, now they like caught on to me, and they're like, oh, I'm going to follow this girl and see where she goes. So it's just, for me, it was just all like organic, playing in different places when I got the offering and showing up for those crowds, playing for parties that already had built-in crowds, instead of it all falling on you. Because I'm at the place in my career where it does all fall on me now. Like, I need to sell the tickets with my name alone. So it's on me to really, have my social media dialed, have my music dialed, getting consistent releases going, crushing every DJ set that I play, because that matters. And people will not recommend you if they don't like it, and they will be very glad to say that you suck if you do. But it's like, it's all of that working together. But when you first start out, it should never fall on you to sell tickets. I've been doing this for 10 years, and I'm at the point where it is falling on me to sell tickets. I was not there 5 years ago. I was playing parties that already had built-in crowds, and it was for me to like prove to these promoters, prove to these community and to the fans that I am capable of their like support and love. But really how I built my biggest community was online. Again, I was on Twitch. That's where it started. I started, like, I mean, Ivy in here too. Like, Ivy was there when we were first going on Twitch. And that's where people started to find me, and I started building my community. But obviously it was like a really extra good time to be on Twitch in 2020. But so for now, it's like before that, how I was building my community was playing consistently around the local scene and just everyone keep coming out. I remember like one of my last shows of 2019 before everything was shut down, I had a guest list of 150 people for this party. That's like, and it's just all people that I had been playing for like around the scene for like the last 4 years. And so, and then I was getting paid like $50 to DJ or something, but because I wasn't getting paid anything, I was like, can I bring a fat guest list? And you just like make things work, So, but I always had a job when I was getting paid under $200 for DJing. Always had another job, because if you're gonna put yourself in that where you're gonna quit and you're only getting $200, it ain't worth it. It's gonna sour the whole experience. Like, I wish we had, like, I know a lot of other countries do have government grants for artists. Doesn't seem like we do in America. So have another job. Don't ruin your artistry and your love for this by trying to make ends meet when you're getting only $100 at the show. Okay. So sourcing tracks from record pools, I don't actually do that a lot. I want to do that more. I'm not sure if that compensates the artist. Hopefully. A lot of the times I buy music as Bandcamp is on Fridays because all the money goes directly to the artists. So, but I appreciate you thinking about that and wanting to make sure that the artist is compensated for that. Okay, do you see a lot of newer spaces opening for dance music outside of places like bars that are centered around alcohol? I want to combine wellness and DJing. Yes, we love that. I'm with you. I'm on like a conscious DJ tip for me. Just being at the bar, I feel like an alien when I'm playing at bars. I'm glad I did it for like the last, 9 years, but for moving forward, I'm personally trying not to DJ at a lot of bars. It's just the energy is a little bit much, especially with the drinking. It can kind of remove people from actually being there for the music in some instances. So I love playing outdoor venues or festivals. I do like the clubs still, because that definitely, like the club versus a bar, it definitely, people do go out to rave more at clubs, so they understand that. But for the wellness stuff, that's great. Like I have a friend in Chicago, she does like a deep house yoga, and so all of her, she goes by Alyssa, same name as me, but she has all of her DJ gigs are on a rooftop for women that are all doing yoga, and that's her career, and that's how she's been a DJ in that realm. So it's totally possible. I would say, I guess how I would start is like going to like your local Pilates or however you want to engage, or like a local non-toxic beauty salon or whatever area, and seeing if they need a DJ for an event. And putting your name out there with them, and then growing and building that, and then building your brand around that online, and then people just know, hey, we got the Aloe party, we're gonna have this DJ come through because they're the health and wellness DJ. So yeah, you can totally find a scene that works for you as a DJ. It doesn't have to be at bars or clubs. Oh my gosh, Igloo Fest was so good. That's like a year ago from now, wasn't it? That was so fun. I missed that festival. I'm actually going to go to Montreal next week again to write some music at a studio up there that I love to go to. Such good times in Montreal. Oh, my bass canon set on day 3 made my weekend. The weather and cancellation day 2 made me so sad, and seeing your set got me dancing. Oh, my pleasure. That's makes it all worth it. Do I prepare my songs with hot cues, and how important is it? I do prepare maybe 50% of my playlist with hot cues. I'm not a psycho about it where everything has to be queued up, but it totally helps. Like, especially when you have different genres and different style tracks, like it's nice to set a cue point when the bass is coming in, or set a cue point when a vocal section is, or set a cue point when is a good time to mix out, you know, because there's like a lot going on and you just don't know. And like, so setting those is great. I kind of do it track by track if it's important for me to have it, but it's not my favorite thing to hot cue tracks, I'll tell you that much. Like, so I do a lot of that on the plane, and if I really need it for certain tracks. But otherwise, you know, I like to flow, and I do like to be busy up here. Like, yes, I like to give the crowd attention and dance. Obviously, a lot of you have seen me. I'm more into like sharing this and promoting this, promoting my art through my movements and engaging with the crowd and performing. But I like to do work on here too. So sometimes I'll set hot cues while I'm DJing, because you can do that on the decks as well. So it makes it more fun. Oh, you saw the infrasound set. Yes. Okay, so I posted my infrasound set today as a little teaser on Instagram, and I'm going to drop the official full-on set from that from the festival at Infrasound from this weekend. I'm going to put it on YouTube tonight. And oh, it was my favorite set last year. After a final review, it was my favorite set last year. So this one is really exciting. So hop on my YouTube tonight to check that out. We're gonna go live with that. And oh, you're gonna feel the crowd's vibes and see everyone. Like, it is such a blessing that this got multicam recorded. I did not know it was going to, and I just found out a week ago, and I'm like, what? We need to put this out. So yeah, stay on that. Okay. How large of a playlist are you usually playing from during a live set? Do you have a set list planned or in mind, or do you have total free flow or a larger set of tracks? Say I'm playing for an hour set, I usually kind of go in with like 50 tracks. If I'm playing like 2 hours, I'm almost to like 80 tracks in a playlist. But that is just like, I like to put all the different circumstances and combos and things that I like together all in one spot, so I'm not like doom scrolling on the CDJs. But I typically like to free flow. Every time I plan a set, I just feel like it's like not my best set. But I will still plan it for a lot of things for just comfort and anxiety, but then I end up free flowing and like finding other things that just I'm excited to play, or it's like in my head and it starts hitting and it's like, oh yeah, this one's gonna be fire next. So yeah, like if I plan a set, I still free flow at the end of the day, but yeah, it's like kind of case by case, and I like to have enough ammo in my playlist. But if I'm doing multi-genre, I also like to organize the playlist either by BPM or have a couple playlists, like one that's like got more of my dubstep in it, or one that has more of like the 130 like UKG or house style tracks. So Valentina, yes, I know. You got to come out again. It's such a pleasure to work with you at the Fresh Start. I'm excited for your journey. Okay, how do you navigate being well known when you go about your personal life. Having acknowledging when I'm at the grocery store or whatever gives me anxiety, wondering if there's a way to not let this impact me when pursuing being an artist. I find it holding me back from gaining full sun. I feel you. I absolutely feel you. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, it's definitely crazy when people know you and like find out about you. But I just like to kind of give everybody the benefit. It's like I take it as a compliment, like, oh, my art impacted them and they feel connected to me, because music is a language too. So we must speak the same language if you're feeling connected to me like that. And so for me, that's just another like friend or fam, you know? And so I keep it like that. But definitely you have to be private and careful. That's why I like having a DJ name, Mary Droppinz, because not everybody knows my last name or my middle name and like all this stuff. So I can just go home and be Alyssa. And then when I go out, I transform into Droppinz. So it's just like that kind of, for me, helps to not take everything so personally, and like my personal life is literally out on display. I like having a DJ persona. I think it's fire. How important is it to mix in key? It's a great guide. I will go to key mixing when I'm like doom scrolling and I can't figure out which track I want to choose next. I'll like be like, okay, well, which one's in key? And it can help me on the fly make that. But I don't think it's everything has to be in key, and if you're out of key, you're gonna kill the vibe. I don't think it's like that. But there are a lot of people that are very sensitive to music and are very classically trained and can tell. So having things that are in key as much as possible, or like at least close to the key, and you know, things like that, like I definitely recommend doing that when you're flowing, especially when you're playing a lot of melodic music. Like for me, I play a lot of music with drums and bass, so who cares if it's in the wrong key, because we're gonna just hit it and we're gonna go into some freaking dope break beat or like a new bass line. But if I was mixing like melodic house and it's got a lot of beautiful pads or piano or things like that, I would try to stay in key, because it's just going to be a little bit more noticeable when you're out of key. Okay, I've only been doing 30-minute sets because I'm new, but so far my playlists always start around one track that I'm dying to play, then I plan around it. I play in key though, and I'm not at the level of Mary Droppinz with her flow. 30-minute sets, great. Record one, and you know, listen back. You can find out a lot when you record your own sets and listen back. And yeah, don't limit yourself to keys. But yeah, I think that's fine. And then, yeah, when you get to the level of when you can free flow, like hone in, you know, work through this. It's like you're chipping away at all of your skill. You're figuring this out. You're getting the muscle memory to where you're playing and you can just like, I can play with my eyes closed now. Like, or if I just took my contacts out or like didn't wear my glasses, I can play, because I've been doing this for 10 years. So don't stress out about that you're not there right at the bat. It takes time. I remember I was like, when I first started DJing, my brother called me out because I was like staring like, and he's like, whoa, you need to chill on that. Like no one's gonna come watch you play at that. If you're just like staring off into the difference, like, so it's okay. It takes time to get comfortable. There's no rush. And like I said, there's no age with this. There's no timeline. There's no, that's all stuff that you make up in your head. So honestly, just go with the flow. Figure it out as you go. Give yourself 10 years. That is my main advice, period. Give yourself 10 years with this. Don't just walk in and assume you're going to be playing Coachella main stage after 1 year DJing. If you do, freaking props. People probably going to call you an industry plant. But like, I mean, that is epic. But just give yourself 10 years of like, I'm going to go in on this. I'm going to be my artist self. I'm going to go in for this. and I'm gonna give myself 10 years. I'm gonna take those gigs that are $100 because I'm building my community and my reputation. I'm not gonna stress at the promoter because he wants to pay me $150 and I've been DJing for 2 years. I don't have an agent yet, so I don't have a track that's killing it on Spotify. That's fine. I'm doing this because I love it, and I'm taking the opportunity to keep spreading my music and blah, blah, blah. So give yourself a 10-year of doing this, and if you go nowhere in 10 years, you're not signed by an agent, you've not played a big stage, your friends are like, why are they still DJing? Your parents are pissed, like, and your relationships are failing, then, you know, don't freaking try to make a career out of this. Just do it for fun at home and have it be your release when you get back home. So my only advice is, yeah, give yourself a good chunk of time to really come at this properly, and no pressure on getting to a certain place in a certain time. There's no age limit. There's no pressure, only the pressure that you put on yourself. And when you are doing this for a job and for an income, that's really when pressure hits. Because it's like, if I want to take off shows for the month, I'm not getting paid for the month. It's not like I get like paid time off, you know? So I go hard and I travel everywhere. I'll play 5 DJ shows in 4 days so that I don't have to play for the next month and stuff, like, so I can actually take time off. But I'm busting it. I'm traveling in and out everywhere. And like, so finding other sources or having a stable income is really smart. Even when you're at the professional level like I'm at, you still have to pay for your own flights, you know, you have to pay for the music that you're buying. I'm grateful because I've made friends with a lot of dope artists, so they'll send me some of their new music, and then I'll have unreleased stuff to drop. And then I'm grateful that I learned how to make music, so I make my own stuff too. But like, you know, just be prepared that it's not fully set up for you to just be at like a Vegas residency making $300K a show. Like, it's a 1 percentile chance still to get there, but hey, it's also awesome to get to where I've gotten. I'm really proud of where I've gotten, and I'm able to support myself enough. But you know, I'm also doing other things to help make money outside of touring. So get creative. Like, and now I'm offering DJ courses and doing like one-on-one stuff with DJing, and like that stuff helps so that I can take time off from being from the airport, and then also help, you know, get videographers like Kinderella that are amazing and come shoot my show, and we're able to do this, get this thing off the ground. It's a lot. But if you stay with your purpose and, you know, have faith in yourself and don't quit and keep going, you got this. Yeah, 100%, Erica. I love what you said. And yeah, everyone drop your IGs, your SoundClouds in the link. We're all here. How many people are here right now, Kendrella? 61. Okay, awesome. There's like 60 people in here now. So drop some things. Everyone follow each other, check each other out, connect, and, you know, get in the mix. Come by Droppinz Instagram. Tonight, I'm going to send you go by my YouTube tonight. I'm going to drop the info set, and then I'm dropping a very special thing next week I've already told you about that's going even deeper. So stay in the mix, stay locked, and keep staying in the FEMME House network as well, in the circuit here. This is where we all continue to grow and share with each other and help each other out. Share each other's resources. Hot girls don't gatekeep. You know, you know the business. Let's do it. And yeah, I'm very thankful for all of you joining, and I look forward to the next FEMME House class on January 21st. We'll be going through troubleshooting when the gear's all acting crazy and the things that you got to do. And I'm just excited to keep sharing more as we go, and feel free to hit me up. I try my best to respond when I can, but if you're not able to get through, you know, messaging my management or getting on my Telegram, that's also a really good way to get direct to me, because sometimes the DMs are just like, I don't even know where I'm at. Things are filtered. There's too many messages. It's a lot. So my Telegram is also a good place to get connected with me directly. But amazing. Thank you. Love you all so much. And I'm sending you all the best vibes on your journey. And just like, here's a seed I'm planting in your brain. Now just let it grow in your way and let it flow. And spread good music, good vibes, and make people dance. That's what we're here to do. We're making people dance. Nothing's better than that. That is the best ever. So awesome. Thank you all. And I'll see you soon.
Sometimes I need to fall right down the rabbit hole, right down the rabbit hole, right down the rabbit hole. Sometimes I need to fall right down the rabbit hole, right down the rabbit hole, right down the rabbit hole. Sometimes I need to fall right down the rabbit hole, right down the rabbit hole, right down the rabbit hole. Sometimes I need to fall, need to fall, need to fall right down the rabbit hole, right down the rabbit hole. Right down the rabbit hole. For the soul, for the soul, for the soul, for the soul.